Hi, for this video what we're going to do is we're going to solve a very common type of word problem. It's a problem dealing with distance, rate, and time. So with this one, what we have is we have a diesel train that left Washington and traveled north at an average speed of 60 kilometers per hour. A cattle train left sometime later, traveling in the opposite direction with an average speed of 55 kilometers per hour. After the diesel train had traveled for 14 hours, the trains were 1,005 kilometers apart, and we want to know how long did the cattle train travel. So that is our unknown information right now. So with this, there's a couple of situations or a couple of things that I would do to kind of help you out with these. The first one is to draw a visual picture so you can see what's going on. So we have a location, this is Washington. Okay, and then what we have is we have a diesel train that's going to travel north. So from here we're going to take and we're going to travel north. So this is our diesel train. Remember that distance is always equal to the rate times the time. So the rate that the diesel train is traveling at times the time that the train is traveling is going to give us the total distance that the diesel traveled. A little while later, there was a cattle train that left, and he's traveling south. So this is our cattle train going in the opposite direction. So his distance is also going to be, or the cattle train's distance is also going to be the rate of the cattle truck times the time of the cattle truck. We know that together they're going to be 1,005 kilometers apart. So after the diesel train has been going for 14 hours, the cattle train, we don't know how long it's been traveling for, but we know that they're now going to be a distance of 1,005 kilometers apart. So visually we can see what's going on. We can see that they're going in different directions. So what we can do is we can say that the distance of the diesel plus the distance of the cattle truck is going to equal the total distance. In order to do this, with any of these, I would advise setting up a spreadsheet just to kind of help you keep track of what's going on, just to kind of make it easier to see. You don't have to do this. This is just kind of a little trick to help you out. We know something about the diesel train. We need to know how fast that diesel train is going. We need to know the time that diesel train is traveling for, and that would give us our distance because this is our rate times our time. We need to do the same thing with the cattle truck. Okay, the rate of travel for the diesel truck, if we go through and we look at this, the diesel truck is traveling at 60 kilometers per hour, and the cattle truck is traveling at 55 kilometers per hour. Our time depends on what you're talking about because they're both traveling at different times. So it tells us that after the diesel train, so the diesel train's time was 14 hours. And the cattle time is unknown. So that's going to be our variable. That's the one that we don't know. So to get our distance of our diesel train, we would just take the 60 times 14, which gives us a total of 840 kilometers. So the diesel has traveled for 840 kilometers. The cattle would just be 55 times t. I can't simplify that because that's our unknown. So we're going to put these two together. We know that the diesel train has traveled a distance of 840 kilometers. The cattle has traveled a distance of 55 times the unknown time, and together they've traveled a total of 1,005 kilometers. So now we have a very simple equation to solve, so we would just subtract the 840 from both sides. And when we do this, we would end up with 165 equals 55 times t. And so our time ends up being 165 divided by 55, which is 3 hours. So remember that what we were looking for was the time that the cattle train left. So it's always best to answer this in a sentence. Okay, so the cattle train traveled for 3 hours. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. How long did the cattle train travel? The cattle train traveled for 3 hours. As always, thanks for watching. If you have any questions or need other material that you need me to cover, just let me know.